than we're used to, honestly, for the HoN Tour weekends. Usually you have to wait for the teams to be ready. No, these guys were ready to go, so that's exciting stuff. I'm ready to go, as I'm sure you can tell. Hopefully you guys are home and ready to go as well, as we're kicking off cycle number 4 here for HoN Tour season number 2. What a season it's been so far. Obviously 3 cycles in. Yeah, we got Stay Green winning every single cycle so far, but if you did not tune into the last cycle, you missed out on a lot. Cycle number 3, what a crazy cycle it was. Let's hope that momentum keeps up going into cycle number 4. With that said, we have a round of 16 match coming at you, but first things first, I do want to introduce, I do have a co-caster here today. I'm Break CBK. Going to be joined by FJ. You might know him. FJ, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. I know you've been casting a little bit today already, doing some stream of your own. Some
Yeah, we've
scrimcast.
been every single every single scrim I could pretty much find between some of the top teams that has not been casted has been now casted by me. So it's been lots of fun.
Yeah, there you go, there you go. So hopefully you've been enjoying that, but hey, we got some good matches now. We got some HoN Tour matches here. Well, first off, I mean, so you're not on a team now, it sounds like. I mean, are you looking for a team? What's to do with yourself?
I'm not actually sure yet. Like I've been trying to hook up with some friends that we might be doing something in HoN Tour next season, but we're not quite sure yet.
All right.
Let's see.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. All right, but anyways, as far as this game is concerned, obviously the matchup we have at hand, we have Too Much Sugar. They're coming off a very disappointing finish last cycle. They finished 9th through 12th place. They got knocked out by kind of this team over here, known as aNiMosity. They played last cycle. They've been cycling through some players themselves, but I believe at least 2 out of the 5 players were on that roster as well that took out tmsR in the losers bracket last cycle. So we kind of have a rematch here in the round of 16, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, especially how Too Much Sugar reacts coming off that loss there. A very disappointing finish again in cycle number 3, FJ.
Yeah, I mean, obviously because tmsR is like a team consistent of not only amazing players but also star players. Like all of them are like really really popular streamers and players that has been number 1 before, if like on several occasions. So you're obviously expecting them to like do amazing, but
Yeah.
well, so far has been having some issues. But now with the new roster change, I mean, who knows?
Well, that's important to bring up, obviously. As you notice over there, tmsR, they got Slicks, Moonmeter, Haxfern, Keizu, and as of course, as you can see, Tankafet joining the party. He was playing on them with them early on as well, but he is replacing Fitzgay, who I believe, I don't know if he quit or what the deal was, but anyways, no longer part of the team. Tankafet in his place. Tankafet, a great player himself, and I'm sure going to step in that support player role just fine. But FJ, we got a game to talk about here. I mean, we're already moving along to the next tier of picks even. So first things first, let's look at how the game started. We had Scout, Warbeast, Prisoner, Ophelia. Looking at the bans, the picks coming out, Engineer, Keeper, and Fade managed to be picked up over here for tmsR. Tempest, Pebbles, and Corrupted Disciple coming out for aNiMosity. Anything standing out to you, FJ?
Well, Prisoner is obviously being banned like all the time pretty much now, seeing as we've seen Lions going crazy with it, and now people are like wondering what should we do against it. But nothing special apart from tmsR not banning Corrupted Disciple when they're running Keeper Suicide. It seems to be like sort of when you go Corrupted Suicide, Corrupted versus Keeper Suicide, you pretty much always lose because well, CD with the link. So yeah, but now Nufora comes out with the Pebbles, and that's gonna obviously be interesting. Always scary.
God, Corrupted Disciple, man. This hero, again, another one of these carry heroes that just has exploded on the scene, similar to like a Dampier, who's just really coming out of the strings. Seen strong lately. I mean, what are your thoughts on Corrupted as a hero overall? Why do you think he's just been so popular?
Well, I think one of the things is that melees are very popular right now. We see Pebbles picked up all the time. Pebbles, Lodestone, Rally, Keep the Forest. Pretty much all of those heroes are really, really poor against Corrupted Disciple if he goes up 1 versus 1 against him. And Corrupted Disciple is not like, he's not only a good carry, but he's also a great tank. So that burst damage that these heroes don't have, like Corrupted Disciple kind of mitigates that a little bit because he likes to go for tanky items such as Energizer, Steam Boots, Mystic Vestment, Health Pack Legion. Like the longer he stays in these team fights, the better.
Yeah. So, going to be played here by aNiMosity. We'll see how it performs for them. As you're talking about, also perhaps going to be in a favorable matchup as well. If it does end up being that Suicide Keeper, and again, most likely going to end up that way. Moon Queen going to be the final pick. So they're going with a strong, hard carry in the end as their final. And now the last one going to be coming out here for aNiMosity. But you got tmsR, their 5-man lineup ready to go. Seems like a pretty strong one at that. What are your thoughts?
I'm like so far it seems to be a little bit in favor of tmsR, seeing as they did get like some of the strongest heroes out in the pool. Like honestly, Pebbles and 4 are obviously very really strong. So is 10% Corrupted Disciple. But when you have heroes like Fade and Torturer and Engineer, you just have so many abilities. Like you have such good mid game synergy that you can pretty much
Yeah.
do anything you want to, and you can pick off the enemy hard carry, then go for a push and whatnot. And Fade is also like a really really good pick against something like an Euphora, because you give so much vision, so you can kind of see those ganks coming. You can bait very easily with that Fade. Secondly, they went with the Moon Queen, which is also really, really strong against Corrupted Disciple, not only because Moon Queen really, really likes to go Geometer's Bane, but also because most of her damage early on is magical damage, so you don't have to rely on those auto attacks from Corrupted Disciple. So it's pretty much, I like it. I like it a lot.
True that. True that. Makes sense when you think about it right there. So, final pick, though. 40 seconds left in the extra time here, coming out for Animosity. So, I mean, you look at the lineup that they already have, I think that Suicide option is still something they're looking for. You got on the board, what do you got? Bubbles being banned out, so maybe something like a Pharaoh could be possible. I mean, what are you looking at?
Well, you go around it and say, okay, that's gonna be a Keeper Suicide. It's already Kesu who's playing it, so you know that it's gonna be a Keeper Suicide. So you want something that stands out against the dual lane properly. Pharaoh doesn't do that. He doesn't get levels or anything against the dual lane. What you can do is that you can get something that can pull the lane. Most of the heroes are actually banned that can actually do that.
Yeah.
But you need to get something that can pull the lane and get XP regardless of that. So that could, in this case, a Madman.
In this case, obviously you got to go with Madman.
Yeah.
All
well,
right.
It's gonna work because he's gonna pull the lane, and if he gets in trouble, he's just gonna stalk away. So that's pretty much what we see right now. Now is that he will probably try to go ahead and pull the lane, go to Ancients, and then just kind of take it from there. Pretty much. I've seen Sins play all day today. He's literally been playing 6 or 7 of these scrims that I've been casting. So I know what he's going to be doing.
You know, this is reminding me a little bit about Fresh Pro. They're like old school HoN right here. You got the long lane Madman, and that's something Fresh Pro was famous for doing back in the early days of Fnatic. Of course, that was also when bottle ferrying still existed. Now there is kind of more to. Obviously, now you get the double rune spawn, so no matter what, there is going to be a rune spawn in both places. So maybe that's where it brings it back a little bit from that perspective. And also, Madman did get a pretty solid buff in that runic shift patch. Obviously, that's a while back now, but we never really seen this hero even since then. But that Gash ability received a pretty solid buff as far as his overall damage output now. When it comes down to it, not relying as much on the RNG, the crit factor, rather than just base damage. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see Madman, just different hero altogether. And we'll see how it works out. As you mentioned, you've seen Zinz play a lot today already, so hopefully he comes through here on the Suicide Madman. But that's going to be fun. Do you expect him to get a bottle with that said in that long lane?
Well, he could very likely do that and try to get the bottom rune. That would make sense in some way. I'm a little bit surprised that he goes for the Logos Hatchet, because normally we just only see Logos Hatchet when it's a 1 vs 1 situation, and he doesn't have pulled region or anything. So I would presume he would only go for like mass region and just Iron Bucket, just pull the lane. But go for the Logos Hatchet. It's going to be. I disagree with it a little bit, but we'll see how it turns out.
We will. Obviously going to be matched up against Haxorn on that Moon Queen, and you know, again, this tmsR team, it's still very interesting to just see who plays what hero when it comes to the lineup. Obviously, you have 4 players that ultimately could have played that carry role before, and Slicks, Moomiator, and Haxorn, and Khezu, and it seems like they've even been shifting lately between Haxorn and Slicks more so. Haxorn is going to be the Moon Queen carry this time. Slicks obviously on that Fade here. So that is something that people look at when it comes to this lineup here, and maybe say is part of why they haven't been able to be that top tier where they've been looking for, despite their names. I mean, how important do you think that is yourself as far as having those set roles?
Well, one thing I can tell you for sure is that Swiddlemelons has been, for instance, captaining for SG for a while now, for like pretty much all time. And so far from what I've been hearing is that you probably cannot get a better captain than Swiddlemelons. And it has been showing, because that guy is like winning pretty much anything. And Slicks has always been a good captain, played for TTS, who has also been a top 4 team. Now he's once again a captain for TMSR, and I feel like from what the scrims that I've seen, then the coordination between the team has been much better since he has stepped in as a captain. No hard feelings against Moomian, of course, but I just feel like maybe TMSR has been a little bit more consistent about, like, they've been thinking about what their strong sides are now, and like how they can properly like do stuff. And Moomian also seems to be playing a little bit of a stronger support than he does a carry, but maybe that's just my take on it.
No, I mean, well, again, especially when you compare it to the team, his makeup of his teammates. I mean, again, you got Haxer, known as one of the better carriers we've seen recently. Obviously, HoN Tour Season 1 did great for Complexity. You got Pebbles in the meantime in the middle lane, taking a lot of pressure right here. He's going to throw us stalagmites. That should be fine in the end. But that Fade Engineer combination coming through pretty strong. But yeah, and then obviously Slicks, as I've always been in favor of saying, you know, one of the best players we've ever seen in Heroes of New Earth, especially for how long he's been around and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. It seems like he's kind of stepped up as that strong secondary support kind of player now for tmsR, and feeling that just fine. Middle lane, by the way, is actually bottom lane. Zinz might be in some trouble right here. He used the stock to try to get away. He's not out of range just yet, though. Eating through the trees, Madman. Oh my god, he's going to barely survive, actually. Using another stock right there. Ward Revelation, we'll see him for a second. But he's going to keep going. He might be able to make his getaway, but he doesn't have any regen, and he's out of mana currently. He will not have mana until he gets 60. And actually, Torture is going to spot him. They're going to chase. We do have NIM4 coming in. Nice Zeal Stun coming out right there by TPS Price. Zin's still going to be on the run. And, oh god, he's going to try to juke right here. Does he have another? No, it still needs that mana. The mana's not regenerating fast enough. The impalement! Bloodlust kill. Going to come out. Speaking of Moon Meander for tmsR, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, Mumina did absolutely well right there, and like Zinz needed to go AFK at some point. He needed to find like a juke spot and just go AFK until he has 60 mana, but he wanted to get away and he didn't want to waste time, and that kind of cost him the bloodlust right there. And here in the middle lane we see Fade initiating onto Pebbles, who almost got in trouble there, but I'm not sure if he'll find.
One more Burning Shadows. Yep, there you go. Burning Shadows connect. Also, it's NIM4 actually. NIM4 might be in a little bit of trouble. Fade, if she was auto attacking from the beginning, maybe a different story, but. Well, they do get the one kill, so too much sugar. Off to a really good start now, especially with that happening.
Is it just me, but it feels like since Slicks has went back to Australia and now sitting with 300 MS once again, it feels like he's playing better. It's as if he's gotten used to that.
It's his natural being, man. I mean, yeah, he's just so used to it more so than... I mean, when we talked to him about that, obviously with the State Greenhouse last season, and at the HoN Tour Grand Finals, we definitely talked to him about that, and he didn't make the. I mean, it's obviously it was a lot better. I mean, he was like it was like a godsend. It was like, oh my god, what is this? How am I playing on this low latency? But at the same time, this is a comfort factor. So yeah, it is no surprise to see him
look
still
at mid
play
lane now. Madman is going to be trying to set something up here.
He is. We'll see if this is successful. Going to come in with the stock. There's the initiation already. The Zeal on top of the stalagmites. Here comes a pair rolling down. Goes Fade. So what do we talk about all the time? Suicide. If you're having trouble in your own lane, go to the other one. Go to the middle lane. Set up a kill. But now he's going to run into Torturer. Torturer has Impalement mana now, but Madman goes the other way. And I think it's going to be fine. We have a lot of movement here early on in this game.
We do. It's the new meta game with having a Suicide that's really active. Like normally we just see the Suicide just trying to get levels and whatnot and pulling the lane, but now it's like with both Rally and Lodestone and Madman, like these heroes really like to set something up, and if they can't win their lanes, like do something else. Like stack Ancients, get the runes, or push mid lane, or sorry, not push it, but gank mid lane and whatnot. And that really worked out.
Well, obviously that death there for Slicks puts him at 1-1. He's still farming about 280 gold per minute. Let's take a look at that creep farm. 18 and 5 Fade, 16 and 2 Pebbles. So, would you have expected either one of these to be in the favor, or is that kind of how you would expected it to go? Pretty even here in this middle.
It's actually hard to say, but now we see the initiate right now, and in comes the chuck from Pebbles, and now it looks like Fade is in trouble. There's the barrel. Where it is?
Yep, there it is. He actually poured it in right there. That wasn't even running over. He actually poured it in with the Homecoming Stone as he was back at base regenning. So that happened to be good timing, and sure enough, Fade falls. So now I think it's safe to say the Pebbles NIM4 lane looking a little bit better now here in this middle matchup. So.
Yeah, it's always like pretty even when you talk about Fade and Engineer and then Pebbles and Nufora, but it's pretty much about hitting the timings. If you notice, then Fade tried to be aggressive on Pebbles really early on before he got that level 3, because normally at level 3 with the 2 mana tokens, that's where you have the combination. So in the middle lane once again, Barrel comes in with the stock, and Engineer is probably gonna fall right here.
Jeez, who would have thought a roaming Madman would be next tier strategy? I mean, this is really catching too much sugar off guard, clearly. I mean, obviously you got Pebbles and NIM4, a double stun combination. It's strong in its own right, but the Madman's just able to really assist here. Meanwhile, the top lane, Tempest ultimately going to be coming out. Keeper of the Forest will eventually fall as a result. Corrupt the Disciple obviously building up those conduit charges. And as you said already, what is a favorable matchup for him. Looking even that much better now after that kill. So, I mean, right now, Animosity, what was tmsR? They were up 2-0. All of a sudden, it's 4-2 Animosity. So they're picking up, and now they're going to start pushing this top lane, it looks like, here, FJ.
It definitely looks to be in favor of or for a new anonymous, astronomy team. How do you call that?
What the hell? Astronomy? Animosity.
Animosity, that's how it goes. I don't know, I've been casting too many games today.
English isn't my first language either, so I learned Spanish first. That's what I grew up on.
No, takes down a Legion tower.
English is my first language. I'm just my first language. I'm just horrible at it, as you can tell. They get the top tower kill though, so look at Corrupted Disciple, man. 372 gold per minute. If you're tmsR, you probably got to be pretty worried about that. Meanwhile, in the middle lane though, actually not stopping. Pebbles gonna be gone on right here. The collapse big time. Pebbles is gonna end up falling a little bit slower than expected, maybe, but he does go down. So once again, some roaming support coming in, but this top lane is still being pushed. If you're tmsR, you need to defend this, right? Yeah, Root is up for keeper, and it is going to scare them off, it looks like. So, get them to fall back at least.
Yeah, I guess it did get level 6, so it feels like they probably don't want to jump into that, especially when like Fade and Engineer possibly has something like TP or something like that on the courier. Like they can't know that, so they need to play a little bit careful right now. Bottom lane, we see the Moon Queen picking up the tower there, right there, and Madman not really able to stop it. So
well, you know, that was actually kind of interesting because I happened to be watching her do that, but she actually used her ultimate because a port was coming in. She used her ultimate as a TP was coming in, and then it canceled whoever it was for good reason, obviously. He saw that being used, and so he's like, nope, not going in. So Moon Queen obviously, in a sense, wasted her ultimate, but she did guarantee the tower kill. So I think it's safe to say, you know, not really the biggest deal in the world that it was used right there. But I mean, right now, who are you more worried for? Who is in the better spot? You got a Moon Queen at the top GPM, but overall as a team, it seems like Animosity may be doing a little bit better.
Well, I honestly gotta say that I think the Hellborn team is a little bit in a favorable spot because Pebbles has gotten a really good start, which means so much for Pebbles. If you can get that 40-minute PK, that means so much. And in the middle lane, we now see the Initiate. Triples done actually from the Fade. Yeah, that was an amazing stun right there.
That was a beautiful burning shells. It's not over just yet. Return kills. Nice stop with the Cole right there. Takes out Pebbles. Fade trying to live as long as possible. Get those auto attacks in. He will eventually fall. The big numbers right there. It's a 2-for-2 exchange. Keg stun connects. And for no, he thought about rooting. He will root in the end. And they do get the kill. I don't know if the root was necessary 100%. But again, KZU just wanted to make sure that they got the kill. And that they do. So a 3-for-2 exchange is how that middle fight will end right there. This game, man, I mean, it is just a lot of just aggressive play coming out from these two sides. But once again, Moon Queen's still farming that bottom lane. If you're Animosity here, do you need to worry about that here? I mean, are you looking to gank her?
Not at the current moment right now because she only, I say only because like she only has a Whispering Health right now. So yes, you don't want her to get too far, you don't want her to get like shrunken and Geometer's Bane, you might want to gank it before that. Yeah. But right now she's not like the main concern. The main concern is to make sure that the Pebbles get the PK. And one thing that's always very dangerous is to say, okay, now we're gonna force team fights, but our Pebbles really don't have a PK. I mean, when you go 5v5 without a Pebbles PK, it's almost always in favor of the enemy team because Pebbles just gets so much stronger with that PK.
Yeah, that is.
So,
go ahead.
I don't know. I just feel like whenever I see someone play, they always say, "Nah, we want to wait for the Pebbles PK because it does so much of a difference." And you also have a Corrupted Disciple who's absolutely free farming, and we have seen just recently that a Corrupted can do just fine against the Moon Queen.
Yeah. Oh, middle lane. In the meantime, we do have all 5. It looks like all 5 here of Animosity is going to be grouping up. I like saying that name, by the way, Animosity. It's a fun name. Hopefully this team sticks around. Anyways, they're going to push the middle lane right here. Corrupted Disciple in the front lines. Elemental Void is up. Keeper Root is not. That's down for 25 seconds. So that could be the difference maker here. As Torture is setting in an illusion. Going to try to bait something right here. We'll see if they fall for it. Level 5 Torture. Nothing just yet. Going to start taking the creep wave a little bit. But by the way, Energizer already picked up on Engineer. How about that? That's your I guess playing your secondaries for really just a support role in general. But managing to get an Energizer already, so pretty solid start for him. Animosity spending a lot of time here. They are getting too much sugar to respond, but we kind of have a stalemate here in the middle lane, and we're only 10.5 minutes into the game. Not often you see this. Both teams just kind of looking at each other, but it looks like they're going to start falling back. So the mid-tower push is, well, unsuccessful right there. But,
yeah, I don't think it's the right move for TTS to be too... Sorry, not TT, Animosity. Astronomy.
Whatever, you had it right the first time.
Animosity. There you go. The Burning Shadow comes out to Pebbles. It's gonna be something. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's the keg.
Oh my god, it might actually be.
Yeah,
energy field.
I don't know. That's a big kill on Papa McDown right there playing that Pebbles, and I gotta say that was it's really unnecessary for Pablo to be standing so far out. I mean, he has every single chance of just like farming carefully right now. So I don't think he should be standing that far out when he doesn't know where. Like, he just saw 5 players in the mid lane. It's quite obvious they would do something if they had a chance to do it. So I don't know. I feel like he could have done differently and been a little bit more careful.
Yeah.
But makes it up to something. Looks like Tempest might be in a little bit of trouble. Fade is at least trying to go in and do something.
He is going to use that reflection right here. Going to start making his way, but you can tell Tempest knows something's up. They have that. Well, they have the Rev here in the middle lane. It definitely spotted them running up at least, and it will give them the information to fall back before too much happens right there. So good getaway coming out by him. How's Madman been doing? Madman's 195 gold per minute, obviously in that suicide roll. There he goes, finishes the steam boots right there. So got the steam boots on top of the mixed investments. Gonna say hello to Moon Queen, but not do much else. Obviously, Moon Queen. Oh yeah, Nip 4 ports, and no, misses a stalagmite. So Pablo McDowell thought he was going one way, he went the other. The Moon Finale's out, down goes Pebbles, and that's a big turnaround in favor of Too Much Sugar. TPS priceless, gonna go for the TP. Oh, that's big. Root U is not able to get him, so a little bit of an unfortunate mistake there at the end by Too Much Sugar, but they got the big counter kill as Moon Queen survived and turned it around. Yeah, missing the stalagmites, that usually comes back to bite you in the ass.
I was about to say, Haxon would probably like, yeah, thank you, I'll take that in time.
Yeah.
Let's just boost my GPM. I want to go for reach for that million once again.
The Hellborn takes down a Legion tower.
Pablo's not afraid.
When I'm awful.
Not afraid to admit when he's wrong or when he makes his mistakes. Yeah. Yeah. He knows that was bad play, but hey, it happens to the best of them. Except for me, I would never make that mistake. But that's why I'm not playing on the competitive scene. I'm just that good. Astrolabe being worked on here by Tempest, obviously with the bracer finish. So. See that coming along here, but Energizer, Whispering Helm, Steam Boots, a level 11 Moon Queen. I mean, I know you talked about the portal key, FJ, but that's still a little bit of ways off at this rate. I mean, Pablo's only 248 gold per minute. Obviously, that miss gank really hurt him. And in the meantime, Moon Queen's getting more and more farm. She's going to be most likely working towards a Shrunken Head. Well, I'm actually curious. What would you think? A Shrunken Head next, or could she go for that Firebrand here?
I would definitely say a strong. Like, Firebrand boosts your GPM so significantly when you go for that because you farm so much faster.
Yeah.
But the Shrunken Head just feels like it's necessary when you play something against like a Keeper and an Engineer. Like, I would definitely say a Shrunken Head, but I mean, if Haxon feels like he can farm properly without enemies trying to be aggressive, then by all means do it. But I feel like the best option right now is Shrunken Head, at least if they're trying to make plays. And I think trying to make plays is a pretty good idea when you're playing against something like a Pebbles and like who doesn't have a PK and a Madman who doesn't have any items either. So like making plays right now is what they need to be doing. Like there's no reason to wait.
The Legion takes down a Hellborn tower.
Like Moon Queen is 11. So
yeah,
like,
exactly. She is farming very well both in gold and experience. Bottom tower going to be taken out of exchange, but they're still going here. On Too Much Sugar, they're going for the middle tower. 4 of them are here. The only one not here is that Moon Queen. She's still farming in the jungle, but it looks like Animosity. They are starting to pour back, though. Tempest is back here. Madman as well. Tempest has that Astrolabe finish, but this is going to be another tower kill. Madman going to go for the deny, and Vulnerability comes out. They're going to try to deny. It's difficult, though, with his minions and everything else. It will be killed in favor of the Legion team. Meanwhile, off to the side, though, Nip 4 points in with Pebbles. They fight, give it the forest. Stalagmite's miss again. Pablo McDowell, it is not his day right here. They still might get the kill in the process. They will. Double damage on Pebbles' house, but the energy field comes out. Now Pablo being locked down. Pablo fall. The Tempest ultimate pulls in a couple right there. Engineer and Fade. Torture cannot get close enough, it looks like. Chain reaction is just coming off cooldown. Finally will be stopped, though. Not enough damage follow up by the Hellborn team, clearly, although they will end up cleaning up a kill right there. They get the kill on a Fade, and now the chase on to Engineer. Engineer is also going to end up falling. Yes, Tank of Fed. Oh my god, Energizer, and not going to be enough.
It's a 3.
So, end story. They do get a hat trick, actually, on Corrupted Disciple. I think Pablo's saying thank you very much to his team right there, because it's not the prettiest start, but Moonku was not there that whole fight. Again, that's another thing to remember.
Yeah, like just comes down to, I don't know, miscommunication or whatever, or bad decision making. I have no idea. Like, it was just really silly to take a team fight when Moonku was not around. And like, I don't know, I've just seen that way too much today, that people have been doing that, playing 4 versus 5, and like, they got the tower, they could have gotten out, but instead they like insisted on trying to maybe do something, but
yeah.
And it was a good attempt, but just couldn't really handle it, and that's really unfortunate. But in the meantime, Faxon is farming well. He's sitting at 510 gold per minute, so I don't think it's. I think they're still pretty much ahead. But I think it's about at the time where they should try to gather up as 5, get those last towers, while that Tempest doesn't have a PK, while that Madman doesn't have any items, so they can because they can get those for free. Like they can't really, Hellborn can't really fight them as long as they have the items that they do. And Keeper's soon gonna be half his stats rate as well. So I don't know. I feel like they could definitely take the towers, but if they want to play the farm game, so be it.
Yeah, this really is an interesting team. It's kind of like that scout effect here on the Hellborn side, but actually, hold that thought. We do see Pebbles trying to go in once again. Again, though, Moon Queen comes in with the Moon Finale and gets them to turn around. I did not catch the beginning right there, so I'm not sure how that really started. But in the end, I mean, they're all going to fall back, and it ends up being another failed gank attempt. So that's at least 2 that we've caught here that have just not been able to come through. I mean, Suno did make a point yesterday, especially, that as an initiator, you got to take those chances in the end. But it's unfortunate it hasn't been able to capitalize. Top lane, though, in the meantime, Fade's going to open on Corrupted. Tempest is here, no ultimate, though. There comes the Root. Speaking of ultimates, there's an energy field, and Corrupted Disciple going to be locked down right here. He cannot get out that. Embry is going to end up falling. And Tempest could just sit back and watch. Again, he had no ultimate himself, not really any mana either, and ends up being a free kill. So speaking of gank attempts, that one is successful for Too Much Sugar. So especially with that kill right there, you got to be liking tmsR's chances a little bit more now as we pick up in this game. By the way, Moon Queen did go the Firebrand, so speaking of that, she did go the Firebrand, but she's already another 2,100 gold saved up. As you said, I mean, it really just enhances her farm so much more. So she's still well on her way to that Shrunken Head anyways.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta say, I do fear that Haxon will go for the Geometer's Bane before he goes for the Shrunken Head, seeing as there is that conduit and like those slows and such. But I think he'll go for Shrunken Head in the end. I could imagine that he would go for it just to like be able to stack and be able to make sure he gets some more farm. But I don't know. I think he'll go Shrunken Head in the end. It's the wisest choice.
Yeah, I think his team is here to win, obviously, as they should be, and Shrunken Head is just a safer and the more efficient route here. So we'll see though what Haxorn does. Choose top lane. N4 did port in with Pebbles. I feel like they are trying to set up quite a bit of ganks here with this Pebbles and N4, which obviously is always good, but it has delayed him ultimately from that porta key, mainly because he hasn't been getting the kills. So if he got the kills, then maybe a different story, but that's the risk you take in the end. So he does have the porta key now. With that said, it is being delivered, and N4 has another 60 seconds still remaining on that ultimate of hers, or his in this case, running the fat N4. So, speaking of Shrunken Head, 2,500 gold on Corrupted Disciple. He's actually very close to his. He's got the Mighty Blade, so that Shrunken Head going to be coming up. They just got the Portal Key on Pebbles. They got good build up here on Tempest. I mean, this seems like a team that's actually starting to come together very well here, actually, on Animosity's side. So, as much as I may like Too Much Sugar's chances, I mean, Animosity, they are getting some big item pickups now. They are really protecting this Corrupted here, by the way.
Yeah, well,
top lane.
If you just look quickly at the draft here on the Legion side, you pretty much see that pretty much everyone on the Legion side is very much reliant on the enemy not having a Shrunken Head. So that's what I said, like, they could get those towers pretty early as soon as the longer the enemies do not have Shrunken Heads. But as soon as Madman is looking to get one soon, and Corrupted Disciple as well, so Moon Queen is going to be reduced a lot, and Styx actually get picked off here at the bottom lane, top lane, and by the gank here.
Well, he used the portal key. That was his first showing of the portal key, and sure enough, it does catch Fade, so obviously tmsR now very aware that he has it, but they got the kill in the first place. Well played right there. And there's the Shrunken Head being delivered to Corrupted. And yeah, how about this Madman, by the way? I mean, he too, speaking of Shrunken Head, all of a sudden he has 1,900 gold saved up on top of that Mighty Blade he's sitting on. So his Shrunken Head is about 1,000 gold away here. And, you know, when he gets that, I've always said, you know, this hero doesn't necessarily need the most items to put out the most damage output, especially, he doesn't have his ultimate yet, but once he gets that Berserk, he can hit pretty hard and pretty damn fast with minimal items. We do see it with the top lane, though. Initiation coming in. Audio Engineer. Can they burst him down? No, they cannot. The Tempest ultimate, though, catches, but Moon Queen comes in, stops it immediately. Moon Finale stop. Engineer gets the energy field off, and the Hellborn team falling to pieces. Corrupted Disciple trying to stand his ground right here, but it's not going to be nearly enough. The Shrunken Head is up, but again, the chase is now on. Moon Queen will finish him off, and a hat trick coming out for Moon Queen. She is now level 16 all of a sudden, and that was not a fight you wanted to lose right there if you're Animosity.
No, definitely not. But they managed to get the tower. I don't think the tower got denied, so that's something, I guess.
Yeah.
And Hellborn got the courier as well. That's also something. But they're probably going to be losing the top tower now. Shrunken Head is now finished on Madman, as well as Corrupted Disciple. So It's gonna be easy to teamfight them now, especially now that Moon Queen doesn't have the ultimate and neither does Keep the Forest.
The
But
Legion takes down a Hellborn tower.
I mean, it's looking pretty dire because, like I said, I feel like the Legion side has a little bit of a stronger draft, but maybe we'll see something. I don't know. Madman and Moon Queen, Madman and Corrupt Disciple are both really good late game.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's very Sins-like. I've been talking about this the last 6 or 7 games. That Sins has been very much the guy who's been farming while the teammates has been fighting, and his teammates has been losing because he has been farming. So it kind of goes hand in hand that you need the hard carry to be there.
Yeah.
Moonmate gets picked up here by Pebbles with the PK and Euphora. So I don't know. Madman picks up Bound Eye.
Yeah.
Pretty damn strong.
Dropped right there by Torture, so that's pretty good pickup that they get, and that was a pretty big kill. I mean, that's a big deal. They get a Bound Eye, so 700 gold right there. That good for yourself. Again, going back to Madman though, he doesn't have his Berserk just yet. I assume he's gonna level it with his next ability. I find it hard to believe he's gonna pass it up, but he picks up a double damage rune right here. But yeah, again, going back to earlier, he kind of has that scout effect in that suicide role where, yes, earlier on, he's going to just be kind of that annoying hero stalking around in this case, just similar to the Vanish, getting some vision for the team, trying to see what's going on, maybe assisting kills here and there. But then as the game progresses, all of a sudden you get to that mid and then eventually the late game stage, you have another hard carry on your team that is hitting very hard and being very threatening, and that's most certainly what Madman's going to bring to the table here. So that's where, if you are aNimosity, once again, I think you at least feel like you do have still a good chance here in this game. But that Moon Queen, man, Moon Queen is just farmed. Geometer's Vein. She still didn't even go the Shrunken Head. She's sitting on 4,300 gold here. So
Look at the GPM, 670, 75.
No, yeah, I mean, why he doesn't just buy the Shrunken Head here is honestly beyond me. But obviously there is the buyback, but I think we've stressed on that issue enough. And what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I haven't asked you that. What are your thoughts on pulling up this much gold when it's clear that... I mean, we're only 23 minutes in. Is buyback that necessary at this immediate point?
They are not at the point that if he dies, the enemies will like instantly get like 2 or 3 towers, but they would get like 1 tower if they manage to gank Moon Queen. Yeah. And like with the Pebbles before, you're always in danger of that, so I guess maybe that's what he's thinking, that he's in danger of getting ganked. If he gets ganked, it's going to be very painful for him, and especially painful for his team. So I guess that's what he's thinking, but honestly, I would probably have bought the Shrunken Head as well. But that's you and me, Breaky.
Yeah.
We're not on TmsR.
That's, I didn't want to join them, so.
You went simple.
Wow, okay, well, I mean, that makes a little more sense as to why he was saving up all that gold. Seemed like the obvious was the Shrunken Head, but you know what? I mean, I guess even with the Shrunken, obviously there is the Tempest factor. I mean, there's some good. Obviously, it does not remove the conduit anymore, and there's good physical presence here. So, I guess I can see where he's coming from with that. I mean, hell, the farm that he has, he's got a symbol. I think he's just fine. So, what is your take?
Yeah, he's probably thinking now it could be a one-man army or something, because when you have that symbol, it's just so very hard to kill you. And like now he can pretty much add anything to that symbol, and he'll be pretty much like unstoppable, like add a rift shot, add a rainbow, something, and like it's gonna be so hard to kill him. Like even if they pull up all the burst damage that they have, they need like a perfect ultimate in order to, from Tempest ultimate, in order to actually get down Moon Queen, even if he doesn't have a Shrunken.
Yeah.
So, and as soon as he's freed up, he'll go with that symbol of rage and pounce out lots of HP again. And now with the token of life, like, what are you gonna do?
You don't kill him. You kill his team, and then hope that you can kill him somehow after that. Yeah, it's a very difficult spot to be in now. For aNimosity, no doubt. Level 19 as well. Holy crap, that's 4 levels higher. Yeah, 4 levels higher than that Corrupted, and anyone else in this game for that matter. So, once again, the one-man army here in Haxroom playing the Moon Queen is definitely coming to the table. How about Fade? I mean, I haven't talked too much about Slicks here, but he's got a Portal Key tablet to command. 2, 5, and 7, not the most impressive hero kill stats, but ooh, Portal Key on Tempest, by the way. What do you think of that over the Shrunken Head choice?
I think it's pretty good, since it's already like there's always the counter-initiating Keeper of the Forest. So yes, Shrunken Head is absolutely amazing on Tempest, but the fact that you can surprise with that PK is also something that you kind of, it's nice to have that surprise moment, and I think that they might need that. I mean, Shrunken Head is great for sure, but I think they need a surprise moment in order to do anything here. Yeah. So I think Penny's like taking a risk here, but high reward if it works out. So
yeah. Okay, at Madman, by the way, picking up another Mighty Blade. What do you think that's going to be? Either the Ice Brand or even a Brutalizer here?
Brutalizer, 100%. Yeah, that's the only thing they can do is to shut down Moon Queen right now. They need to have like some kind of stun, and looking at the team, they pretty much have none. They have Pebbles and they have Nymphora and they have Tempest. So yeah, definitely going to be a Brutalizer, I'm sure.
Yeah, again, it kind of really does go back to that scout effect. Obviously, a popular item on him as well. In that suicide role, one of the few heroes it seems like it's popular on. Firebrand on Corrupted Disciple. Are we seeing the Dawnbringer or Geometer's Bane, you think?
Well, you see Cubed Forest, so what are your thoughts?
From that perspective, Geometer's Bane, but Dawnbringer just seems like the go-to to every single game on Corrupted Disciple lately, so that's where it's a little bit. I'm not sure, but
you can also say that like the Moon Queen bounces will be affected by having more Corrupted Disciples to split between. But so I guess that's something, but I don't know. I think in general Geometer's Bane is really cool because you can also, if you're against Burning Shadows, I'm quite sure you can go invulnerable. That's 0.1 second and dodge Burning Shadows from that point of view. Same goes for Keck for that matter. So yeah, I really like Geometer's Bane. It just has so many possibilities, and also the chance that you can bait the enemy to do something stupid with the illusions.
I think Geometer's Bane definitely has its place, and I do think you could argue that might be the better choice here, but I think it's going to be Dawnbringer just simply because that's what we see lately. And you know, oh my God, Zensen's going to fall right here. That was unfortunate. He's farming the Ancients. All of a sudden, Fade jumps in. Obviously, they had his Word of Sight right here to spot that. Fade jumps in, gets the kill on the Madman as he was taking the Ancients, and now Nymphora is going to be caught out as well. Boundeye drops on top of that, and Moonmeander's like, thank you, that was mine earlier. I will take that back. So 2 players dead just like that. Madman and Nymphora fall. That's going to be another tower kill here.
The Legion takes down
Favor too much sugar,
tower.
so you see what Animosity's doing. They're just going to counter push both the top and the middle lane, but actually Tempest already pointing back as tmsR is going straight for the base. They are going cutthroat, and vulnerability coming out already, so tower is now, well, vulnerable. We do see a port coming in from Corrupted Disciple as well. Not buying anything just yet. 1-6-5. There's a big Tempest on the way. Torture doesn't get caught, though. He's able to stop it with the chain reactions in time. Down goes Tempest. Down goes Pebbles. Nymphora still dead. Madman's trying to run away now with that shortcut head up. The bounces from the glaze are doing so much damage, as always, and Madman will fall. So the nearly huge Tempest ultimate does not catch the fifth person.
Hellborn Barracks gets destroyed.
Very close, though.
And we see the Haxon factor with the 760 gold per minute. Like,
Yeah.
and the movement is just tearing that base apart. It's like, it's really difficult for the Hellborn side to do anything right now at this point. And they couldn't really gang Haxon because they, like, Styx was constantly sitting on that Fade, always in sort of invis, trying to stick around a little bit to make sure he knew when the enemies were coming, and otherwise the wards there. So it's just really hard to gang that Moon Queen, and Pebbles really didn't execute as well. Like, he didn't steamroll or snowball, as you call it, the way we often see Pebbles do. So yeah, it's definitely not looking good for the Hellborn side, and I'll be very surprised if they make a comeback from this, especially with no Tempest ultimate.
The Legion takes down a Hellborn tower!
There we go. 2 sets of racks are dead. Yeah, with no elemental boy, that's the biggest deal. He did go Geometer's Bane in the end, so you were correct, FJ, on that. We do see jump in right here. No, that's just Illusions, actually. Gonna scare them off with that wing bow now, especially looking pretty strong. Tempest in the background. He gets locked down. Pebbles jumps in, trying to make something happen. Madman joined the party as well. Moonquin is falling, but she activates that Similar Rage with that wing bow. Again, a lot of damage, a lot of evasion. Corrupted Disciples tanking it. The Conduit had 10 charges, actually, and it was on Moon Queen, so she was doing no damage there by the end, and that's definitely the idea you're going for. But, well, of course, with that Token of Life, she comes right back up, and now Corrupted Disciple, he's the one that is vulnerable. All of a sudden, the Glaive's still bouncing. Madman's able to really stalk away. But now the tower falls, and we are very close to Mega Creeps, and it looks like Animosity doesn't even want to let it get to that point. GG, well played, is being called. And it looks like that is going to be it for game number 1, as well. They're going to go in at the very end there. Make something happen, but obviously that's how it's going to be. So game number 1 goes in favor of Too Much Sugar. So they're going to be up 1-0 here in this series. I think it's safe to say we got to see the Moon Queen factor, FJ. 830 gold per minute. Holy crap.
That is absolutely ridiculous, and Pablo like that finished off with a comment saying, "I think I'll go back to the gym," or something like that. Yeah, I think that was definitely in favor of the Legion team throughout the most game, and didn't see enough coming out of the Hellborn, even though they had the chance at some point.
Yeah, again, this matchup here, it definitely intrigued me looking at the round of 16 matchups, mainly because, in a sense, it really was a rematch between these two teams. Obviously, again, Animosity, former Afraid team, they actually knocked out Too Much Sugar in last cycle in the losers bracket in that 9th to 12th place spot. So you look at it from that point of view, looking for a good matchup. But yeah, that game one, clearly Too Much Sugar getting some revenge right there and looking pretty strong. So that's good for them and their fans. We'll see how it continues on, though. Moving on to game number 2. I mean, Animosity, no doubt, can compete at the same time. They definitely have their positives in that game. So we'll see. Any final thoughts, FJ, before we move on?
No, I just gotta say that I think TPA. I really hope Animosity starts stay strong, because they definitely is a team with lots of potential.
Yeah.
And some really nice players out there, like both Pani and Embraer, some of my good friends, and these guys are really, really awesome.
Yeah, definitely agree with you more, 100%. I mean, obviously seeing teams like this on the scene, just sticking together, seems to be that tough part. But if they can get through that, then who knows what they can do. Again, we're still early on, technically. I mean, all this is only Cycle 4 of 10 total. So anyways, we're